Kia ora. This week starts off in rather wild fashion with the risk of some thunderstorms, some heavy rainfall and also some stronger winds in the mix, especially as we head through in towards Tuesday. So through Monday afternoon, you can see we've still got this heavy rainfall up the western coast, the risk of some thunderstorms for you, and also start to find our winds increasing as we head through the nighttime around these central parts of the country, all with this area of low pressure down south. So wrapping around that, those stronger northwesterly winds running through Taranaki Bight in towards Wellington, the Kapiti Coast, and especially around the likes of Wairarapa as we head through to the early hours of the morning tomorrow. We've got more winds to come as we head through the daytime on Tuesday, especially as well around those eastern parts of the South Island. Through the nighttime tonight, or through in towards the early hours of Tuesday morning, we find lows back to about 5 degrees Celsius around those central parts of Otago. As a heads up though, even for the North Island, we'll find some colder temperatures arriving this week, especially Wednesday night into Thursday. Back to Tuesday though, you can see a rather active looking system. Rain moves northwards up the country, stronger northwesterly winds around those middle parts, and as that low pressure runs across the country, we'll find strong cold winds that are running up the eastern side of the South Island as well, especially for parts of Otago and Canterbury, with rain, perhaps even some thunder and hail, and generally just a real wintry feel of that weather too. As we go through the day, we will find plenty of strong winds, especially around those central parts of New Zealand, for places like the Tasman region, across towards the Marlborough Sounds, Wellington, Wairarapa up in towards southern parts of Hawke's Bay. Those are those westerlies or even northwesterlies that run through there. Down south, we'll find strong southerlies, perhaps even reaching near severe gale force for a time in the most exposed areas, and gusting 90 to 100 kilometres an hour around places like the Otago Peninsula and up in towards Banks Peninsula. Well worth keeping a close eye on those through the daytime on Tuesday. And as we head through the night into Wednesday, stronger winds as well out towards the Chatham Islands, with again that risk of those winds reaching severe gale force in the most exposed areas. For the North Island though, if you're looking for dry weather, head towards those northern coasts of Northland first thing. But even here it will turn cloudy as that rain moves up, reaching Auckland, probably around about the middle part of the day. A spell of wet weather for you, but then brightening up as we head through the afternoon, but with some stronger winds. Down south we have that rainfall first thing, those strong northwesterly winds, perhaps reaching gale or even severe gale in the most exposed areas. Things clear off once that front clears away, drier for a time, but then more showers back with us through the afternoon. But I think for places like Wellington, Wairarapa, and crossing towards even Palmerston North, it's going to be a pretty windy story, which is the main feature of the weather through there. Top temperatures in Auckland, 22 degrees Celsius, a mere 17 though down in Wellington, and feeling colder in those winds as well, especially once they swing southerly in the afternoon. For the South Island, well, it's a wet start for many of us. We'll find as that low pressure moves across the country, some fairly heavy rainfall for a time in places like Otago, running up that Canterbury coast, accompanied by those really strong southerly winds. Like I say, perhaps a gale or even severe gale force in the most exposed areas. Things get better as we head through the daytime. Those winds start to ease off through the evening. The rain pulls away, but we're back into colder air. So I think that's going to be a real change. But it's worth saying, as that band of wet weather moves northwards, we may well find some showers and thunderstorms on both sides of the South Island. Something to watch out for through there. But the strongest winds around the Canterbury coast up in towards particularly Banks Peninsula, bear the brunt of those winds, gusting 90 to 100 kilometres an hour in the most exposed areas. In terms of our temperatures, well, on the cold side, as we said, 15 degrees Celsius, our top temperature for Christchurch. But it's worth saying that could be very much the first part of the day. Once those winds turn southerly, that cold air is back with us, along with that wet weather. It's going to make it feel a fair bit colder as well. But I think it's going to be one to watch out for, and you'll notice our nighttime temperatures are back on the cold side as well. 2 degrees Celsius, even dropping down below freezing in some of those more inland areas. But it is going to be a chilly end to the day, and I think a cold night as we head through in towards Wednesday. Now, the other thing those winds will do will drive a fair bit of swell, particularly up our western coast. You can see those bigger swells running up that western coast, even up towards parts of Taranaki and around towards the Waikato, Waitomo, even the Auckland west coast. So well worth bearing that in mind if you're heading towards the coast as we head through the next few days, Tuesday, even Wednesday, still keeping hold of some of those higher swells around the coastal regions there. Now the good news is, as I was saying, as we head in towards Wednesday, things generally quieten down. Still some stronger winds around the Chatham Islands first thing, but most of the time it's a cooler story, but a more settled story once we head in towards Wednesday in that second half of the week. So yes, it's not as warm as it was last week, but at least the more active weather will be out of the way once we head to Wednesday. That's it from me. There's more at MetService.com.